Welcome back everyone to Let's Play Advanced Tactics Gold. This is episode number 38. We're really getting towards the end here. I think we have 2 more episodes after this. So this will be another quick before and after picture. In the previous episode we finished. We were continuing to hold the line. One thing to note that this little exposed hex with the bridge, actually I'll just zoom in so we have a little clearer picture. Notice it does look a lot better when I turn off hex rastering, so actually seeing the hex grids. I won't play that way, but just kind of for looking for the overview. And it also is a lot better when you take off hex coloring, but just to give us an idea of what was going on, the Russians were still not in control of this raw area, and this also had a few more factories, but they did have some isolated pockets in the middle here that were pushing kind of close towards Cologne. So it's a little worrisome, because if they capture Beirut and Cologne, that actually puts them almost even with me in terms of victory points. Now, Laval was close for us, but not. It didn't look like we had any immediate designs on Laval. We were still closing off this French pocket. And again, just as always, these Russian pocket on the pushing towards the west is this constant back and forth where we bombard and dive bomb them, and then they usually use some of their artillery against us. There's also, what I'm going to show you is there's been a lot of conflict before. This is the before picture, and in the intermediate time period before I load up the next part, there's been a lot of combat here, which is good for me because that means the Germans and the Russians are kind of wearing each other down. The Russians did have an isolated, I guess, push towards Orléans and Rouen, but we had just completely decimated it, and I think at this point the French forces have captured that again. So that's kind of the lay of the land, how it was, and now we'll quickly jump forward to see what is the lay of the land now. Okay, here it is. So here we are back. First thing we're going to take a look at, we'll just do it in the same order. You notice that the Ra has now fallen to the Russians. They continue to push in the southeast area of the German border. This pocket, which was cut off previously, has now been reopened up, and if anything, it's now the Germans that are going to get cut off. Lastly, lastly for the south area, everything's been very static here, except for I need to show you, probably I'll have to show you more in the history for the battles, that this bridge is now blown up. That's been done. I think one of these 2 hexes, probably this one, holds the German heavy artillery. They're bombarding me very strongly, and they actually blew up the bridge 2 turns ago, and I've had to bring my engineer down. Now, all these units are slightly lower on readiness and action points, just because they've taken hits from the heavy artillery, and we've taken a few losses here too, so you can see that this group is not at full strength. Neither is this one. Neither is this one. So we're missing a few pieces from everything, but that's just showcasing that the Germans have been up to some pretty strong heavy artillery bombardment, and since it's heavy artillery, it's 3 hexes away. And that has been a huge advantage for them because I actually don't have sight of them. So I'm just going to have to guess it's one of these 2 groups. Okay, so nothing new has changed really on the fronts here. They have a lot of strong armored cars that they keep pushing forward. And this is still something I've been harping on way too much, I'm sure. But you have these armies. I think this is probably the perfect example. I'm encountering a lot of armies now that just consist of no non-mechanical units, which feels super unrealistic. I think in my next Let's Play series, if it's ever against the AI again, because I definitely have that multiplayer one up next, but I'm going to somehow tweak the factories so that AI, maybe we'll just turn off factories altogether. I was reading on some forum post that there is a way to do that. And that would mean that cities are valued a lot more. And maybe instead, to complement that, I will just increase the production capabilities of cities, or conversely just reduce the cost of units, or maybe I don't know, I'm not sure exactly what I'll do, but it's obviously just gotten a bit ridiculous where all the units I'm fighting are, this is an exception. There are a few rare exceptions with the Germans, but like this is a 3 armor car unit, this is a 1 armor car unit. Anyways, so this is the next part I want to talk about. The Laval is now ours. We pushed south. We basically spring-loaded a bunch of armor and then sent them south. I'll showcase that a little bit more in detail when we zoom in, but we've also taken this entire, originally this French pocket that they were holding along the river and along the stream, it's now completely ours. So all we need to do is eliminate these 3 hexes, and the rest is ours, basically. After that, we will completely control everything west of the Orléans, Laval, Bayreuth road line. So this north-south is completely ours after this. So basically all I did was just push up a little bit. The French repelled their little Russian thrust inward, but they're not long for this world, considering after this turn the only remaining units will be probably these 5 we're looking at here. Lastly, what's the last thing? Ah, yes. Now, so I suppose I should zoom in. The Russians have pushed all the way up to the Laval as well, so it's really coming down to the situation I thought it would be, that it's just us against the Russians, with the Germans holding on to basically the last relevant strategic land, and extremely relevant strategic land because so many factories and so much production capability from a capital in the city. The only other non-U.S. held foreign city is now Lorient, which is held, of course, by the Russians. It's originally a French city. That's the only city, as far as I know, that is held by a non-native, so it's a foreign occupied city, that is not the Allied occupying, so us. It's not everyone else is just occupying their own cities, except for Russia has 1 extra city. I guess it's just easier to see that if we went to strategic information, victory point information. So we have 21. You should have 5 normal cities at 1 point each, and 1 capital city at 4, for a total of 9. We see the Royal Perm has victory points of 10, so they have the 1 extra. Orléans is just done, I'm sorry to say, France. They're out of the game now. And Germany still holds on to these 5 key victory points. Now, we are over halfway there. So we're out of the 36 total points, we're at 21. And I consider this, like I said, a victory already. But I'm just going to go ahead and push the last 2 episodes because things are getting heated up. I kind of think that there's still a little more fun, maybe 2 more episodes of fun to be had. I'll do this one, and then I'll advance time to another convenient point. But why did I stop at this point? Because we're going to do a big push on this turn. Well, kind of. I just wanted to update you, and I want to eliminate the rest of this pocket, and we are going to try to start pushing in the south. The problem is, I guess the interesting dynamic I wanted to show, and I will go to history for this. In fact, maybe it's better now to turn off hex coloring. Yeah, I think so. Now that you kind of understand the lay of the land, I'll turn off hex coloring, which is a lot better, just to kind of view the field. Let's go to battle history now, and I'm going to skip through some of these battles, but basically the same situation that it's been for forever is that the Russians bombard us, but we have pretty good defensive terrain, especially some hills here. And then we counter-bombard them when it's our turn, and we eliminate a lot of their units because they're in the open plains. You can see this is a great area for my tanks to operate. And I actually am operating with, although there's none visible directly right now, I have some medium armor operating, and that's really to my benefit. Okay, so lots of bombardment. You can see this is the Royal Perm bombarding Old Imperium, so Russia bombarding Germany. A lot of other AI combat is going on. Let's see, anything interesting? A lot of bombarding. Okay, so this is a successful bombarding, and you notice it's by the Germans. They have 3 heavy artillery, and because I don't know where they are bombarding from, they're getting this hex, and you can see they killed 11 people. Some of this was replenished because this unit doesn't just have 39 units left. I think it has almost all of them back, but that means the lower readiness and less action points, etc. So we know that they have to be getting us from 3 hexes away. 1, 2, 3, here, or here. And I think because I can see this unit, and I can't see this unit or this unit, it's probably one of these 2, which has the heavy artillery. So we're going to be on the lookout for that. Okay, so now let's go to next. More bombardment, another 3 heavy artillery, just further decking my people. And this is the one last turn. It didn't blow the bridge this turn because the bridge was already blown, but this is the same bombardment from a lot of heavy artillery into this hex, the one that has crossed the stream, that's causing a lot of damage. They killed another 11 units here. Okay, but this is a lot of what's also going on. the news which makes me very happy is the AI versus AI stuff. This is not a great example, only like 14 units killed, but there's some where it's really heavy fighting, especially like this. These two lines are really going at it. I'll see if we can find those. So yeah, this is an attack that didn't go so well for the Germans, even though it was victorious. They took 2-1 losses. And this is the main one I've been seeing a lot of, 25 versus, I don't know, like 20. So a lot of losses in this area, which delights me to no end. Okay, so I think that's all I wanted to show. They actually did attack me. That's very silly. We didn't even suffer any losses. That's over a stream and to a very well entrenched unit. Oh, okay, so it's actually, I think it's either plains or fields. So not well entrenched in terms of high entrenchment, but as entrenched as you can be. That one's been sitting there for a while. And this is, again, where we're taking a lot of the losses. More bombardment by 8 heavy artillery. We need to find out where those guys are and eliminate them. So that's going to be a lot of the mission in the south. It's going to be, where are these heavy artillery? We have to find them. Okay, so to start off, oh, another thing that you probably noticed now is that I've separated it. I now have 4 headquarter units instead of 3. So what's happening is there was just too many units in my what was originally my brown or green headquarters, and now it's brown. Just to keep the new headquarters is this new green one. We have Andrew Collins leading. So he's been around for a couple turns actually already. That's why his units, the green units, are at readiness of 100. They've had enough time to recover. And it was a good time to put a new general in because the French forces were incapable of really attacking. They were so out of supply. They had very low readiness. So it was really easy just to allow my units to be at 50 readiness for a small amount of time. Okay, so what are we going to do on this turn? Well, where do we start? I guess let's start in the south. I definitely want to counterattack this unit. I'm going to use my artillery on this one. So we'll do all. And after we do some bombardment, I will definitely follow this up with a dive bomb attack. Because we are going to want to attack these guys. So the prelude to that should be some pretty intense artillery and dive bombing action. And this is very good when we see that we're killing a lot of the, wow, a lot of the units. Even causing the armored cars to retreat should make them like less strong in the defense. Less likely to kill my units. This one I know I took very heavy losses. It doesn't look so bad though. I mean, if you look at combat strength, the 83 is pretty low compared to the machine gun ones, but remember that those are going to take a minus 25% penalty, the submachine gun component of that, just because this is an open plain. So we'll probably attack with both the non-machine gun units. In fact, I guess this is the right time to do that attack, so let's go ahead and do that. Not as many, we didn't get as many armored car kills as I was hoping. But we really need those other armored dive bombers for the other hexes, so let's attack. Wow, that worked out well. We only took 1 casualty, eliminated a lot of their units. 4 armored cars. I'm surprised. That was very good. Okay, good. So, at this point, we want to make a push forward with our machine guns. We want our machine guns to get into the forest. 1, that's going to give them artillery protection, and 2, they defend a lot better over there. So the problem is I don't think we can actually make it. Because of this simple, basically it takes 50 to move into these, so if we hadn't been bombarded, you can see how effective their bombardment is. We're missing 3 action points necessary, because you can see it's 50 to move in here, so that's of course the same as it would be to move in here, because we're moving into enemy territory and through enemy zone of control, which would be exactly the same situation as if we were attacking here. So unfortunately we won't be able to get into the forest this turn. The question is then, is it better? This is plains and this is field, so this will offer slightly better protection, just in terms of entrenchment, raw entrenchment. And our units are kind of already entrenched in here, so it might be better just to leave them in here. Okay, let's at least move our anti-tank forward. Okay, good, so now we're getting some scouting information, which is fantastic. And let's also move this one forward. Oh, wow, wow. Okay, so this hex, which we didn't even know existed, we've now found like almost all of their heavy artillery. Okay, that's really good news. So probably their heavy artillery isn't here, although this is plains. Maybe it's worth still... I was going to say still investigating, but unfortunately... We don't have enough planes. We'll probably start production of dive bombers again. Because I'm going to shift units forward. We have Laval now, which is opening up for us 2 new dive bomber slots. If I keep my dive bombers at 5 each, it gives us another stack of 10 we can deal with. Yeah, so we need to bring a lot in to dive bomb this. I think let's even bring in the heavy guns. In fact, I don't even care about bombarding the Russians because you can see that they're very low on readiness because I've just been hammering them. So let's completely redivert all of our dive bombers to pursue the French unit, or the German units, which have been causing us a great amount of pain. Good, so this is perfect. We can get both of our really experienced dive bomber units onto this forest hex. Cross our fingers, and here we go. And even if it doesn't kill them, I need them at least to retreat, which will prevent them from attacking me as much. So we only killed 5 of their 18 heavy artillery, but we got another 8 to retreat. Lowered their readiness overall. It's not amazing, but it's better. So, better is better. And we know where they are. The good news is, if they don't move, we know where to continue bombarding. And if they choose to bombard our closer units, these guys are in the hills, the low mountains, which is going to help them because of entrenchment. It's also going to help them because they're going to not take it's only 50% of attack strength if you're going into the low mountains as artillery. Okay, it would be nice. Let's see if anybody can attack here. Good, so we have this unit way up here is able to attack this unit. Yeah, we'll bring them in. We need to stop this heavy artillery bleeding. Triage the wound. Very good. So I see that we got a lot of hits in. 2 heavy artillery were killed, 3 artillery were killed. Not that the artillery matters much. And 2 more heavy artillery retreated. So 2 of their 5 that are alive retreated. That should do some pretty serious readiness damage. Yeah, 31 there, 22, perfect. Okay. Good, and we also know where we want to start pushing towards. So the Germans are very much alive in this fight. Having the capital and an extra city is just, and all these factories, so many factories, that they're going to continue to mass produce these artillery units, unfortunately. Okay, well, seeing that this huge armored car unit exists, I don't think we should move forward yet, so let's just try to bombard that with the last remaining unit in Velberg. Okay, it was somewhat effective. We only killed 3 and 2 out of 14 and 4. But we reduced it looks like we reduced their combat strength a lot. Maybe we were overestimating the combat value, because I think it said like 300 here, and now it's only saying 96. So that's interesting. Huh. Okay, well, let's see what else we want to do this turn. We have... Probably we use 1 artillery against this guy. And then follow up with some kind of attack which pushes him out. We do have to worry about the Germans. The French are just completely out of supply for the rest of the game. They won't ever have a unit with more than 10 readiness. So that's basically makes them combat ineffective. We don't need to worry about them. Okay, yeah, we can also get this engineer. Let's move and rebuild this road. So good, now we have that bridge back. But let's get this engineer out of here again. Excuse me, he's not a unit we want to be using. Yeah, nobody's able to get into the forest this turn, so we'll have to... I think we do have to push a unit forward, unfortunately, just because even though we're going to suffer artillery bombardment and maybe even an attack, like, can anybody attack this guy? No. That's not good. That means we'll probably be counterattacked, and I don't have very good anti-tank coverage. I could buy anti-tank level 3, which would basically only be to protect this 1 hex. Although since we'll be coming up against anti-tank, we'll be coming up against armored cars so often, it might be a good idea, although a little bit strange, for me to completely stop. I think I already have stopped, just to give you a production overview. I think I've already stopped all, yeah, we're only producing 3 machine guns, and that's the only combat unit we're producing infantry-wise. We're no longer producing rangers. Basically, because we're only coming up against armor and infantry guns, and we don't need infantry for that. What we need is tanks. Tanks to be in the rock, paper, scissors agreement. Anti-tank guns and armor is what beats their units. And unfortunately, they're not really building any infantry, so... Okay, so things are working a lot better for us in the south. I still don't know how many units are here in this tank factory. Maybe they still have some heavy artillery, but since you get, the first, as you start attacking unit, you lower its readiness, you lower its entrenchment. It's better to focus your attacks and not spread them out too thin. So I think we did the right thing by just double bombarding this one. Even though this is in plains, not in forest, so there's something to be said that our dive bombers were less effective. Okay, do we want to attack this guy? I guess we do, but we probably don't even want to move in, just because he's in open fields. Maybe not even. We could just leave him there, let him... Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't see any reason to attack him, actually. Can he be attacked by anybody? No. Okay, so we've used up everything. This guy is able to attack, so we'll probably save him. Actually, he doesn't need to attack, though. Alright, so we're going to move this yellow into here, which will give us full capacity at rune, and this one into here, which will give us at max capacity, which is 4, since the capital has 200 max stack. So all of our red guys are here. We have 4 dive bomber units, and 2 yellow guys are in rune. It's fantastic. Do we need to do any? I don't think we need to do anything. We have armor in this area, so let's just move this artillery forward and bombard. They do have some amount of armored cars here. 19, they have like not much. Just these armored cars is the only thing that worry me. What's their expected readiness? 7, but they do have a bonus. In order to prevent infantry casualties, I might actually... No, I can attack with 2 armor here. So let's just do that. Armor and armor. Good, that was very effective. So that's the last of the French forces, except for 1 staff who somehow survived and went here, I guess. I'm not sure how or why. It doesn't matter. We'll move this tank in. We'll keep this tank here. It doesn't really matter, actually. We're just going to attack this one, and that's all of the attacks that we can get done with our armor on this side. Actually, we could move this guy in here and actually attack with this unit who has AT guns. That's going to be effective, so let's do that. We'll use the weaker armor against this guy and the stronger against that guy. So let's do this. Good, perfect. And let's move the red in. He already expended his points anyway. It looks like that guy retreated. So this is probably the best place we have to use our artillery. In fact, it's going to cost a lot to do a jump. But let's do this jump over here and then just get 5 rounds of bombardment off. And I think what we'll do after that, we did kill 1, that's good, is I'll move this guy a little bit closer into Marseille. And from Marseille, he'll just use the rest of his turn doing some dive bombing. Good. So 2 kills, that leaves only 1 guy in here. Yeah, and this guy is... I mean, it's all over for him. We'll just use the first light armor to eliminate that hex. Okay, boom. First armor moves in. Now, against this guy, we can use this infantry that we had left behind to take that over. So, push in. Obviously, it doesn't matter at all. This guy has zone of control, but I guess our zone of control is so much stronger on this hex that it did flip to us. So now we actually really control everything, basically everything west of the Laval ruin line. There's no more pocket over here. These guys should all just start moving forward. I don't know where's the best place to move him. It'd be really nice to keep this hex, but it doesn't look like I have any way of... I need an engineer to help us here, but they can't build a bridge this turn, unfortunately. Yeah, because you need enough action points to move over, which is probably 40 or something, and they're only going to have 20 left. Okay, well, that's just the way it is, so that's fine. Let's get all these guys start moving forward. This guy moving forward there. And this is the red area, so red and green will merge somewhere around here, so it should be pretty clear. Yellow takes these 4 hexes, basically. Red is going to take like these 4, and then basically probably red will take Laval, everything north of the river. So red and yellow will be north of the Laval River, which divides us pretty well. And then eventually I'll just move green south. They'll take control of this area, and brown will be the unit who moves towards Beirut and Cologne. Okay, so I do have a little tidying up to do, but I'll do that off camera. No need to bore you guys with the details there. So let's move here. I just really hope we can discourage. In fact, I know we have some artillery here. Yeah, let's get the 14th and 15th to move south. Let's have them move into here even. So what I'm going to do is actually bombard these 2 guys, which means I need to separate it so that they only get 1 group each. I'm doing that just, hopefully that'll cost them enough movement points that they won't try to move into this hex. Because if they do, in order to take that hex, I'm going to have to go... I mean, what you see right now is, although it's mine, it's 50% penalty to supply there. So I could move 1 unit in. Could I? No. I can't even, I don't even think I can get a unit in there. Yeah, it doesn't look like any of my units can move in there. Even the ones with 100 action points can't cross the river because armor takes a 60 action point penalty. And I think there's some kind of multiplication of that because of zone of control or foreign territory. I don't know what it is, but it's both enemy zone of control and enemy territory. So it's impossible for us to move in there is really what I'm trying to say. Now we could get there this way, but I don't want to move in a unit across this stream, which is another, and this right here is another dead zone, supply dead zone. So, yeah, basically we don't want to try to move past this area until we know that this bridge is secure. Yeah, that's just it. There's nothing more to say. Okay, so what are we going to do up here? This is a pretty strong unit. I would not be remiss if we were able to cut this guy down a little bit. But if we're lucky, he won't attack us because it'll be over a stream into our medium armor is here and our anti-tank guns. So let's go ahead and roll the dice and just bombard this guy. Yeah, let's do that. So we won't be bombarding any of the German units. There's a lot of... And I'm more worried about the Russians, obviously, so they are our priority number 1. The Germans are still a nice little buffer that the Russians have to contend with. Hopefully they won't try something silly here. Because we might take some casualties, even though, yeah, we have very good anti-tank with medium tanks here, as well as anti-tank guns, which of course are very good against tanks. They are anti-tank. A little bit less effective than I was hoping they would be, if I'm being very frank. So they're very good on defense, 2400, but for some reason they still seem like they get overrun pretty quickly. Maybe that's just because we're being assaulted by so many armored cars, but I don't know. Anyway, so now that we've bombarded that unit, probably we'll end up attacking. We do have a standard medium tank here, which can attack, which, yeah, of course, we should do that. These guys, yeah, we've probably thinned them out as much as we want. 13 armored cars is nothing to sniff at, but let's get our medium armor and the weakest light tank unit so that they can get more experience. And let's go ahead and attack. I figured we'd take some infantry casualties, but holy cow. So they do have AT guns now, which is worrisome, but we decimated this unit. Killed the anti-tank gun, killed 13 armored cars and 5 infantry guns. I wish that that was significant or more significant. Unfortunately, as we've seen with all the factories in the game right now, it's not really that important. So, Okay, let's see. What else do we have? Well, this is actually a pretty good unit for bombardment now, which we have one artillery in place to do, because all of them retreated back there. That'll also lessen the chances that the Russians are able to bombard us. So let's do that. Let's use one of our artillery stacks, one of our artillery divisions to... Yeah, we even killed some heavy artillery, which is fantastic. Because we're not going to be able to spare any of our planes. Those guys are all going towards the Germans right now. Okay. This is a pretty sizable unit, but the good thing is it's not in position to attack us, so we'll ignore it for now. Okay, so we have one artillery guy left. I guess he'll just bombard here. Nothing else he can really do. We could move him forward, but just this is really a petty reason not to move him forward. But if I move him forward, we'll have 6 units here, and the nice spread of 5 will become a thick stack, and yeah, just because I don't want that. We'll keep them separated. Great. Just their readiness was already low, lowered it a bit more. Hopefully that invites the Germans to attack them. That's all I want to go on there. Alright, so everything in the south is done. Basically, we aren't really able to do anything. They might even blow that bridge again, but hey, my engineer's standing by. He's ready. So next turn, shouldn't have any problems with that. Yeah, okay, that's good. We're going to hope this guy doesn't cross, so we'll just cross our fingers there. Won't do anything else. We try, well, yeah, we need to discourage these guys from their attacks. So let's do the bombardment of each. Hopefully that lowers the readiness enough that it drops their action points to a place where they can't move, but that's very unlikely. It's the best we can do, just discourage them. But if they move in, well, it means we're going to have to attack over a river. And we will have infantry in place to do so, but it's just... Actually, if... This is green, so these guys, neither of them have the action points. Damn. We'd probably want to spread some guys out. So is this guy, can he move south? He can. We need him there just because we want enough infantry. If they move, they won't be able to attack, but we want a higher angle of attack. So we're not worried about that guy. Although if we were, we could just move this guy forward. Actually, maybe no, let's move him. I don't think that this guy, he's cut off. He'll probably lose readiness. Let's not worry about him. Okay, good. So we'll do artillery bombardment of this guy. This is obvious. Always kill the Russians. Okay, decent. Decent. Probably means that... Should he be a unit? Maybe get this slightly lower action point guy to attack him, because whoever goes is going to finish before all their action points are used. In fact, can this guy get there? No, I doubt that he can get anywhere useful anymore. Yep. So once again, we'll go back to the 5th close air support. Okay, well, we left 2 of them alive, unfortunately, but can he get back? No, he doesn't have the ability to do really anything now. Okay. Well, maybe we'll send another one over. They should be really weak. It should be easy kills. So let's send the 13th to try to get their experience up. Oh, perfect. And the first round just eliminated all of them. That should be good for the 13th. And that eliminates the Russian units there. Okay, so where else do we want to attempt to attack? We don't see any other Russian units on the front. So I guess we bombarded this guy. Let's try to get who is available. Wow, everyone. Okay, well, let's use the best units then. Actually, let's use the red units since they are further away. And we'll do an attack there. Because the yellow, that means the yellow units can get one further. We're getting a lot of good damage. In fact, this might be enough to really prevent this unit from moving. We suppressed them. That's great. Okay, and last... We have one more pair of dive bombers. This guy has 2. These 2 are the ones available, I guess. I would rather not go after the Germans. Let's go after these guys. Okay, this is the first and a 6. So it's very interesting that the first only has 75 action points, still able to get there. But hey, I'll take it. That's good. Let's try to wipe these guys out. They drop out. 7. Oh, wow. So we destroyed them before the action points were actually used up. Very good. I'm very happy with that. Maybe that means the Germans will try to break out. I hope so. Okay, so we have some various other units which we could move. I guess. Yeah, we have to do some shuffling. Do I want to do that on camera? Probably not. Basically, I need to keep moving units. It's like, where is this guy? Where is he doing back there? I don't remember what the purpose. I think he was going to connect some road, but that's completely irrelevant now. So let's get him there. Because this one, like I said, has to move down here to connect that river. And then basically I just want to consolidate the yellow up here, the red here, get the green around here. And, you know, I'll have to move. Some of these guys are going to switch headquarters from brown to green. So I didn't actually name this headquarters. Red is eastern? I don't know. Just call them the 4th HQ, that's fine. Okay, very good. So I'm going to call this episode to a close. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more next turn, or next episode. I'm not sure if we'll do any time dilation or not. If things are interesting enough, I'll just roll, excuse me, right from here. But let's just call this episode to a close so it doesn't go too long. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.